In the past few years, there's been quite a few Pixar movies that have been released. And like me, I know there's probably plenty of you that have seen the trailers for these before they come out and thought, hold up, hasn't this movie already been released? That was my exact reaction when I first saw the trailer or any footage for the movie Elio, which just came out on June 20th of 2025. It wasn't because of the plot, it wasn't because of any of the story moments, it was simply just because of the art style. It looks artistically, design-wise, like every other Pixar movie of the past 10 or so years. And here's the thing, the movie flopped hard. A lot of the internet blamed Disney's complete lack of marketing, which is true. The movie was barely pushed. Disney just kind of tossed it out there like, here, you've been nagging us for something original, just go ahead, watch it. But it's very clear that that's not the entire story. I think Elio failed partially because audiences are visually bored of Pixar. Not emotionally, not narratively, visually. And that is a design problem. Let's rewind. Back to the 1990s and early 2000s. Early Pixar had a look. You had Toy Story, A Bug's Life, Monsters Inc. Each one had a different visual identity. It wasn't just this one's underwater and this one's in space. They had different shapes, different lighting styles, different vibes. But somewhere along the line, Pixar fell into what we call the bean body syndrome. Every character now looks like they were born on the exact same rendering farm. Soft textures, squishy proportions, those same round Disney Pixar eyeballs slapped onto every face like a Mr. Potato Head. Elio is no exception. You've got a shy, expressive main character who looks like a slightly tweaked version of Luca, or the kid from Turning Red, or the little brother from Elemental. They all look like they're from the same extended universe of middle schoolers, which would be fine if the universe wasn't so damn repetitive. So let's look at the story for a sec. Elio's big thing is he was abducted by aliens, and he was sent to this massive intergalactic United Nations kind of thing. It's a fun premise. You'd think that that would open the floodgates for this bold, crazy, expansive universe of different alien designs. After all, it's this big intergalactic coalition with a bunch of different aliens from different planets that all probably have different conditions for where they live. Therefore, they're gonna develop, evolve, and look different. But not really. Most of the aliens still feel like Pixarified blobs with floating eyes or vaguely animal-shaped heads. Bright colors, shiny surfaces, and you guessed it, soft edges. Don't get me wrong, some of the concepts are neat, but they're so polished and clean and friendly looking that the whole thing loses any sense of awe. There's no grit, no texture, no edge. It's Star Wars through the lens of a children's toothpaste commercial. Compare that to something like Treasure Planet, a movie from 2002, by the way. The alien designs in that were gritty, gnarly, expressive. Even Lilo and Stitch had more character design variety for the aliens, and that was set on a Hawaiian island with 4 main characters. Elio had the entire galaxy, and yet it still just kind of felt like a mall food court in space. This is where the design critique really kicks in. When your visual style never changes, your audience starts to tune out. You don't want people to watch your trailer for the brand new movie that you just spent millions of dollars on and say, oh, it's another one of those. We've seen this happen in real time. Pixar movies used to be events, but now they just feel like episodes of a really high budget cartoon series. Meanwhile, with studios like Sony, and yes, I know that just about every YouTuber who has brought up this discussion has brought up Sony. It's a beaten horse, but it's a good horse. Sony has put out the Spider-Verse series. It is completely different in terms of the art direction and the design direction. There's a reason that people love it and the way it looks. It takes a bunch of different art styles and throws them all into one and does it very well. It's super creative in the way that it actually executes all of this. Just about every frame in those movies, they have personality. There's a lot of different elements that have gotten that movie so popular. The storytelling is great. The sound design is fantastic. But the animation is what a lot of people have talked about. It looks great. Visually it holds your attention. And there's a reason now why Across the Spider-Verse was such an event when it was coming out, and why Beyond the Spider-Verse, people are not all that bothered to wait for Sony to take their time and get the movie right, because they're so good. Elio, if you freeze frame it as some random part of the movie, people might think that it's a promotion for a sequel for Luca. And that visual sameness has consequences. People don't feel curious about it. They don't feel excited, so they don't show up. But I'm not gonna pretend like marketing wasn't a part of this. It most definitely was. Disney buried Elio. It had minimal promotion, barely any merch that I'm aware of, and they pushed its release date twice. It was originally supposed to come out last year in March of 2024. Then it got pushed to June 13th of 2025, and then it got pushed back another week so that it wouldn't have to compete with the live action How to Train Your Dragon movie. People forgot it existed, and even when it came out, I was surprised that it existed. I was like, whoa, there's a new Pixar movie. When did anyone know about this? When it did get a trailer, it didn't exactly light up the internet because it looked like a movie we had already seen 5 different times. So, yeah, the lack of ads didn't help. Here's the honest truth. Pixar is undoubtedly full of very talented people. The rendering tech is beautiful. The animation is fluid, but the style is old and stale. The design choices are stuck. Give me textures, give me weird shapes, give me bold line work or illustrative influences, stylized lighting, anything. Because when you have an original story, it deserves a good presentation. You can't tell me that you're breaking new ground when it looks like it came off of an assembly line with a bunch of other supposed new ground. But it's becoming a common theme, not just with Pixar, but in a lot of the industry. People are just seeing how much they can churn out when it comes to shows and movies. How fast can we churn something out to make more profit? And at the same time, in animation studios, the animators are being pushed to meet stricter and stricter and crazier deadlines, which means that you're going to use a lot of the same styles and assets that you've used before, so that way you save time. And that creates a problem. You create a bunch of slop that just gets put out for the sake of making some quick money, and that's about it. No one's really trying to create anything wow factor anymore. It's the whole mentality of push out as much as you can, even if it's slop, so that we can just make a bunch of money without having to put in a bunch of money. The problem with that, of course, is that you don't get much loyalty in terms of your audience. On the flip side, you have Sony with the Spider-Verse series. Those movies have giant gaps in between them in terms of when they come out. First one came out in 2018, the second one came out in 2023, and now the third one is slated for, I think, 2027? Those are massive gaps of years, and a lot of studios don't want to do that because that's too much time before they make money. But what happens when those movies come out? They make a lot of money because people like them, and you are more likely to get that same amount of audience come back because they liked your last ones so much. Audience loyalty will also get you lots of money. This is the whole argument I have with just about anything, any industry where you are selling a product. Would it not make sense to have a good quality product that people want to keep coming back to consume? I don't know. I'm not a crazy capitalist businessman, so maybe I don't understand. But Elio didn't flop because the audience hates originality. It's actually because the audience wants originality. And even if the story was more original, no one is going to give it the time of day when the art style isn't. Because people will look at it and then automatically assume it's like everything else that you've put out in the past 10 years. The reality is that looks in just about anything are going to be the first thing that grabs someone's attention. It's going to be the one thing that makes a first impression. So when visually you're putting out a product that looks exactly the same as the last 10 products you've put out, no one's gonna think that it's any different. No one's gonna sit there and try to figure out what the plot is. No one's gonna give it the time of day. Anyway, if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on the post notifications, follow me on all my socials. All those links are down in the description. And I hope that wherever you guys are, whenever you guys are watching today's video, you have a great, wonderful day. See you guys in the next one. Peace out.